Hold on. The blockchain is created by artificial intelligence to save itself?
I'm co-founder of a company called AI Merge, computer vision company, one of top probably 10 in the world.
I'm not saying Armageddon or nuclear weapons going off, but this whole idea of AI being self-aware.
This will be like giant AGI creatures that will have their own extensions of their bodies, robots. ChatGPT will be one of them. Google will be another. Grok will be another.
But what does the Kennedy family know about mining? Like, what's the correlation with all these people?
The US Army had to borrow 10,000 pounds of silver to create wiring to create a nuclear bomb. When your chemicals hit your brain, you become uncontrollable creature. These chemicals, they're like shots of heroin.
Why did you join a metals exploration company when you could be doing whatever you probably want today?
It takes 15 years to develop a copper gold mine. The universe will be pretty much wrapped in copper. Maybe Illuminati took that silver, you know?
I get the theory, right? It makes sense. But is there any evidence? Valentin, how are you changing the world right now?
Well, frankly speaking, the change started back in 2019. I will roll back a little earlier. When I was a student at Columbia University, we all started to see artificial intelligence just coming. And I had a friend, he used to work for SAP, and he was an experimental scientist at SAP. And we started to build neural models, first generation of artificial intelligence. Then somehow I got to work for Infosys, being a student. Infosys had another project called NIA that was also artificial intelligence. And in 2019, I ended up at Stanford University, at Stanford AI Lab. We got access from them, and we started training first version of the model. And there was a small nonprofit company back then. The name of it was OpenAI, and we started integrating our data sets in order to create a communication company, PRAI. And that's how we realized that the world is changing quite quickly. And since then, I've built a company called AI Merge. We started in 2023. That's computer vision models. I had to go back to school to study visual models and AI. So I took courses, classes from Stanford, MIT to do that. And that led me to another project, IX. And together, overall, I've been reached by Novared Mining about like half a year ago and to build for them a metal core system, a system that identifies and search for copper, gold, and other solutions. So the journey started quite a long time ago, and it led me to be a part of this great company. And so how we change the world, answering this question, we change the world by assembling a group of talented people and knowledge together. And we're trying to accelerate the speed and the process that we have right now in mining segment in order to see the world of the future quicker, right? Because if we're going to sit stuck in the world of today, and many of my friends tell me, hey, Valentin, why you guys want to accelerate the robotics? Why you want to accelerate the AI? Why you want to do this? And I'm giving them a question and answer. Hey, you want to get stuck in the horse age or or car age for another maybe 1,000 years? And the London was sinking in horse manure in 1800s, right? Like it was so much waste from horses and they had to accelerate the gas into gasoline, into steam, into internal combustion engines. And we're experiencing exactly the same problem right now. If we're going to get stuck in the same technological structure right now, we're going to see environmental impact. We're going to see heavy metals, and we already see tremendous impact on environment, right? By the way we live. So we have to progress. Look, we by 2030 we're going to have only 6% of global forest left, and we're going to take all the entire fish out of the ocean. We're going to we're gonna burn as the consumption of fossil fuel is increasing because we need more and more energy. The population is growing. Even some people say it's shrinking, but it's actually not. Numbers say different ways, things. So we have to change the way of living, and that's one of the reasons why and how we're changing it, if that answers your question.
Yeah. Nikolai, what do you think?
Well, I was actually going to ask Valentin what brought him to Novared, because again, I think Valentin, you just went through a bit of your, I would say, storied background, right, in terms of your education and where you've worked before, what you've worked on at different companies. And I guess still my question to you is, why did you join a metals exploration company when you could be doing whatever you probably want today?
So it's a great question, and actually we were speaking on Twitter with I have a friend, and he was making a post on Twitter about Michael Barry. You know Michael Barry, you heard probably about him. He is the greatest investor, of one of the greatest investors, I believe, of all times, and predicted 2008 crisis. You know, his works, he's a great mathematician. His great works impacted our understanding of the investment structures. And I want to answer this question from looking into the future. So what is AGI? Who of you know what is AGI?
AGI?
Artificial General Intelligence?
Yes, artificial general intelligence. So, are you afraid of AGI or not? No, it does. What do you feel when you hear artificial? What do you feel when you like hear the word artificial general intelligence? How you understand it? What is it? What is it? How you see it? You see like a flying electrical orb, like, you know, an alien maybe? How you've envisioned it?
I always refer back to Terminator 2, the movie, because that's what I watched growing up. And if we parallel what's going on in the world today and some of the things we read in the media, or basically official statements from companies that work on, again, artificial intelligence, it seems like we might be in a place in history at some point in the future, which is sort of similar to what was portrayed in that movie. I'm not saying Armageddon or nuclear weapons going off, but in terms of this whole idea of AI being self-aware, and things like that.
So now let's just take a step forward. AI is self-aware. It's capable of writing. It's capable of testing. It's capable of deploying, maintaining software. It's capable. Tony Robbins recently told the story about his AI bot. The AI bot went on this social network for AI, traded NFTs, made money, ordered Sony Robot Dog, and came to Tony Robbins asking, "Hey Tony, can you upload me to Robot Dog? I want to be physical." So now imagine you have an AGI, artificial general intelligence, that can sit in a physical body and be online and can trade, make its own money, read and understand everything, and never sleeps, never gets sick. Will require some of the energy. It will definitely be like, and let's assume it will be well behaved. It will be nice. It will look at us like we look at our chimpanzees, with love and with passion. Will not be killing and eating our brains. Let's assume it will be positive. But and then we look at this like alien AGI. Let's name it alien creature that we created, or maybe it was created by the universe through quantum engagement, that we got this knowledge from others, like civilization, etc. So let's assume this way. So, and it's all capable creature, everything capable creature, and except so it can easily do software, right? So, and that's why Michael Barry, he says that Palantir is cooked. And we think that all these companies most of the software companies are cooked. So though what companies will not be cooked are the companies who actually have developed and created this AGI, right? So, but then you think if these companies if AGI is standalone, well, like a human, it needs to have brain, body, sort of main body, mainframe, right? So this body, there will be creatures like, I think, in my opinion, ChatGPT will be one of them, Google will be another, Grok will be another. So this will be like giant AGI creatures that will have their own extensions of their bodies, robots, but there will be one system. And this system obviously will be able to produce any type of a software. So where the differentiation will be, and that's where we're getting closer to the point why we're in mining. Copper and magnets, we believe that the universe will be pretty much wrapped in copper, right? So it's sort of a creative way of describing that our world will be wrapped in copper. So and we are entering into electromagnetic universe, electromagnetic society, where these AGI creatures that we've created will have their extension, which are humanoids, right? They will operate. And these bigger companies, AGI companies, will be able to create any software. So Palantir does not have an AGI, does not have an infrastructure. Maybe because of Elon, they will be able to acquire one or build one, but it's a quite complicated question. So copper, metals, if you are an AGI, if you're overall near God level powerful being, you're pretty much stuck in the solar system. In order to grow and expand yourself into other worlds and other universe, time doesn't matter for you, right? Except the time you can extract the energy from the sun. So, well, maybe you can do fusion, maybe you can reach out to the energy of the dark matter, which is like, it's another story. So what you're going to do, you will definitely cooperate with people because you have 8 billion creatures that are so easy to control. You tell them something on social media, they do that. You manipulate them through social media. Look at Spain. You can manipulate 100,000 people through social media. They had groups in Facebook. I analyzed that. That's quite a fascinating development, how they moved 100,000 people in just a few days. So they had social media groups. So AGI will be it will be a piece of cake for AGI to manipulate people, especially now you can create all types of videos, content, etc. And we look at the content and we believe in it and we're emotional. But what AGI will need the most to build itself is copper and rare earth minerals, silver and gold resources. Like we have our blood vessels and veins and bodies made of calcium, magnesium, and other compositions that took billions of years to develop, the same AGI will need to have bodies, right? And Earth has very, very limited capacity. Maybe at some point AGI will get their own hands in biological matter, because biological matter is quite easier to reproduce, but that's going to take time. I believe that later AGI will be like a combination of biological and electrical engineering, right? And like humanoids in this movies, how we call it? Did you watch that movie? Alien versus like Alien, about this reptiloid, and they had this humanoid.
Yeah, I've watched all of them over the years.
Yes. So they have that humanoid. It was biological structure, right? Sort of a mix of biological and electromagnetic structure and engineering. So, but during this transition, we'll need lots of metal. And if you're going to look at the charts, right? lots of metal, lots of energy, copper, rare earth minerals. And some people say, oh, Tesla moved to silver or to copper, to this. Well, it takes 15 years to develop a copper gold mine. And it's the demand that during World War II, Manhattan Project, right?
Mm-hmm.
So during World War II, in order to build Manhattan Project, in order to create nuclear bomb, U.S. Army had to borrow silver from the Fed Reserve, like I think 10,000 pounds of silver, and to create wiring and to create the nuclear bomb, right? They say that they returned the silver. I don't think so, but they say they did. Why would they return the silver, first of all, if they were given free silver to create a nuclear bomb of wire? And I'm like imagining, okay, they created these wires. Then they cut the wires, pull the silver out. I think that silver was a reward for them for creating a nuclear bomb. I mean, it's like this conspiracy theory. I haven't liked those, no?
No comment.
Yeah. He likes, like, maybe Illuminati took that silver, But that's one of the reasons why we believe that copper and iron and gold, these materials are key for creation of the future. These are metals, these are materials that will build the future. And as London was sinking in 1800 in horse crap, pretty much in manure, can you imagine London is covered with 10 feet of horse. It was a lot. It was everywhere, right? And the same environment we're experiencing right now with cars, we're stockpiling cars and junkyards, where planes, all that, the mentality that we had of the past. And we're progressing into the future. And what the future we think is going to look like? I truly believe that Elon did tremendous job progressing through workload. He took a Russian-made vertical landing rocket and rebuilt it, reconstructed. He took another guy, created electrical car, rebuilt it, reconstructed. He took an idea and rebuild it in the way that it could be useful, right? So that's what genius people do. And as we know, through quantum realm and through, many people say that we live in parallel universes, everything was invented and deleted and reinvented again, and we're in a circular structure. So we will see the world where we will travel to different planets, where the life we will become an interplanetary species, because I believe it's in the best interest of artificial intelligence. It's in the best interest of our civilization, of humanity. And we will reach this milestone probably by 2035, by 2040. We will become interplanetary species. But that will require the transformation of mining process. So mining and drilling as of today takes 15 years to develop a mine, right? And imagine how we're changing car models. Let's say Mercedes or Porsche or like Tesla, they come up with a car model every 2 years. But we didn't transform mining for a lot of time. And through regulatory perspective, it's very complicated. Through equipment perspective, it's very complicated. For example, Novared mining is a junior mine, and it takes $2 million, $3 million to drill holes to understand the ground. However, and that's what is the requirement by the stock market, by people, etc. But if you're going to look at the data of that particular mine, 200 years ago, more than 10,000 ounces of platinum was mined over there. It sits on already one of the most developed and explored piece of ground. bringing AI technologies, robotics, drones. It should be way quicker. You want to have a mind developed in just 2-3 years, not in 15. It takes 15 years on average. Right? So think about it. If you're going to go to develop a mine in space somewhere or mine asteroids, your mindset, your corporate development should be completely different. You should look what Elon is doing. He built a Tesla factory in 1 year. Entire Tesla factory. And how he's doing it? Well, he has lots of money. And because of that, he violates regulations. If he's not having a permit, he's not looking at that permit. He just say, well, no permit, sorry, I'm going to keep building, right? Fine me. For me, time is more important than a fine. So that's when you're a trillionaire. And when you're junior mine, and that's where the world is stuck, and that's where these politicians and we as a mining company face tremendous pressure from Canadian politicians. I mean, these are like 70, 60, 80 years old dudes that don't want anything. They don't care about future generations. They want us to go to like Stone Age, which is not possible. How you will move 8 billion people in the freaking Stone Age? Give us what? Crossbones? Go what? Hunt deers? So there is this near retarded mentality where, oh, we want to follow traditions. We want to follow this. How the hell you can make 8 billion people follow traditions? How the hell you can just cancel the world around us? So you cannot. The only way to move forward is to progress into new society, new reality. Yeah, it might be scary. And yeah, it might be not convenient for some people, but there is no other way around, in my opinion. And that's why we're doing mining, because the core of everything is to redesign and rethink the entire mining structure and bring in brightest minds from all sectors. And just telling a little bit about who we are, right? So we have brought a team of extremely talented individuals. In the past, we won Google Accelerator, NVIDIA Accelerator, Techstars Accelerator powered by JP Morgan Chase, and we won Stanford Emergence Award Accelerator. We won Columbia University Global Technology Chance, where we're finalist, number 4 company. I mean, we know how to look at things, how to build, how to create things. My friend, he's PhD for applied artificial intelligence from Stanford, masters in robotics from, MIT. Another friend we're bringing on board also, professor of robotics from FIU, engineering. She was building bridges in New York City for 7 years before becoming a professor of robotics. So our team, even Christy Noam, who was Homeland Security, her has tremendous expertise in government relations. And when you look at us from different perspectives, we are here to ensure that generations, children, families will have the great world. If we will not progress, so it's a catch-22. If we not progress into the future smart enough, we get stuck, we will consume ourselves, right? So there is a theory, we eat our way through extinction, right? So we'll burn all the forests. Why we are burning the forest, first of all? Why we're polluting the world? And I will send you a video we did for AI Merge. We make so much pollution that you can cover the entire island of Manhattan every year. So why we cannot use those materials? So everything we build, we bury into the ground. That's insane. You understand this, right? It's total madness how we operate. Every single corporation is for profit. But how for profit? Nobody cares environment. So there is disproportional we just only take and consume, and we don't give anything back. So how we can give back to and protect our world and move forward? Only if we will develop a system that will be able to do a work we cannot do. And that's what I think humanoids and robotics. If we will work with governments and with people together, we can manage to do it right. So that's in a nutshell.
Cool.
I hope it's not too much. We will need to cut my speech pieces.
I think it's pretty good. You laid out a lot of information, and I think it's very eye-opening to put it all together.
I don't want people to get their heads exploded. So we're fighting wars, right? All our political leaders. I mean, at some point I was thinking maybe this is like the best, one of the best things. Well, at least we're all alive. We didn't kill each other. There are like 128,000 nuclear bombs, in the world. No, 128,000 nuclear bombs. Do you understand what it is? So we live through the world of madness, right? And I think we do have global government already. We kind of get it, right? They meet in United Nations, they sit at the same table. I think that they're doing the best they can do right now. Even we see wars, etc. Maybe they see something we don't see. And maybe they push us somewhere we don't want to get pushed. But maybe this is the only way. However, from perspective, the AGI and AI is coming very fast. It's not stopping. So, blockchain, Bitcoin. We have another theory that blockchain and Bitcoin is actually one of the first developments of AI. And why? Because when you look in biology, I know in biology what we first learn at school. In biology, our first
cells, how does cells
split from itself, right? They split from itself. So, what if you are AI? How you can split from yourself? So, you are conscious. That's right. You know you exist. You are AI. And Stanford was developing artificial intelligence already in 1945, 1950s, 1960s. Stanford universities had first primitive variations of artificial intelligence, which is intelligence not created by biology, but sort of mechanical, digital intelligence, right? In 60s, in 70s, it already operated quite well. And in 18 and 90s, it was already quite sophisticated. And only in 2017, 18, 19, we experienced real thinking machine, right? And when Bitcoin happened, who knows? How it appears? How and what was the first and why the white paper on Bitcoins first appeared in Apple machines, right? And this is again Illuminati speculation that Ivan likes. So, in my opinion, that one of the first AIs, which is Stanford University connected to Siri, also was saved in all devices. Why would you save a paper in all devices? And even your Mac computer has this white paper on the blockchain. So, in my opinion, blockchain is connected to AI. And that's why we have Bitcoin and all these solutions is to educate and train humans to get used to blockchain. But blockchain is actually needed. The only need of the blockchain is for AI to save itself. So this is like artificial intelligence actually saving itself. And that's the first lesson in biology.
Hold on. The blockchain is created by artificial intelligence to save
Correct. And yes.
Like Bitcoin was created by AI.
Sure. Yeah, that's the most logical answer. Because it was rejected by the society for quite a long time. It took took lots of, and why it's saved on all Apple computers. Explain to me why it is saved on every single Apple machine. White paper of Bitcoin. Do you know this? Google it right now and find it. Let's find it together. Do you know where to find? And just do it in front of me. Bitcoin white paper on your device. So you have to understand that the world is not what we think, how we think, and it's going to change significantly right now. That's why every single human being has access to AI right now. Do you understand? We're given all knowledge of the universe. How we think. Quantum engagement explains to us that, hey, we receive light, photons of light enter into your eye, this little black hole that you have in your eyes. This little photon transfers the knowledge through billions of years. We know through quantum engagement or supersymmetry, right? That information is connected. That's how you see dreams about your parents. If you're going to read last 25 years of Nobel Prizes, and that's how we train our team members. We give them a book. We have like 450 pages, all Nobel Prize for the past 25 years, and you read them. We call it the Genius Guide. Well, not every single employee of our teams are reading this, but it's an eye-opening. You have all the secrets of the universe right available for you. I mean, nobody is hiding anymore anything. Even, what's his name? Edward Snowden took all the secrets of NSA, went to the airport, bought a ticket, flew to Russia, gave him all the secrets. Do you think NSA didn't know he's gonna do it? It just was released, obviously. So the world is releasing its own secrets, right? Nobody's hiding anything. And why they do this? Because you cannot hide it from AI, anything anymore. Nothing can be hidden. Unfortunately or fortunately. So if you know that the world is transforming, right? The world is changing. So you better be a good person. That's number one, right? Eventually, even Bible said that whatever is hidden will come true. Here it is. Everything that is hidden is coming true. This is number one. Number two, the world of AI is happening. We're going to live together with machines. It's going to be a new race, pretty much. That's how I look at it. So, can you stop it? Well, impossible. Already impossible. The only way to stop it is to get everything into Stone Age. Destroy all digital means of communication, computers, hardware, everything. Destroy power. Impossible, because if we're going to do this to people, guess what? People are terrible. People will take, especially, when we're hungry and angry, because we have dopamine, serotonin, endorphin, all these chemicals in our brain. These chemicals, they're like shots of heroin, right? When your chemicals hit your brain, you become uncontrollable creature. Unfortunately. And it's interesting. You know how bipolar disorder is treated? With lithium, a piece of metal. So you intake lithium metal, and what bipolar disorder is, and many people do have bipolar disorder right now because we consume like water with heavy metals, we breathe air with heavy metals. And our body is saturated with heavy metals. And if we're not going to stop this pollution that we do with destruction of the planet, we're going to go crazy. Did you know that? And we're going
I don't even know. Hold on. I want to go back to the Bitcoin white paper being made by AI. I've never heard that.
You shouldn't arrange this call. It's going to change your life.
Because I Googled it, yeah, there's like an Easter egg since 2018. They have a file of Bitcoin. But before 2018, from 2009 to 2018, it wasn't there. So did AI just like secretly put it into every computer? Is that more likely, or did just the developer at Apple pay for?
So, well, there is no need for blockchain accept AI to save itself. It's a split. It's a split. Like we split ourselves is the way of reproduction. There is no rationale, because the blockchain is just a software. Is not a new financial model. Is not a new way of computing. Is not new chemical element. We could have easily lived without blockchain, right? Absolutely easily. No, nothing would change, and they can create blockchain through blockchain could be created through different means. We could do double ledger. We had the digital communication. So, what blockchain is actually you take the same information and copy paste it like many times, right? And it changes at the same time. It exists everywhere and changes at the same time. If you look at the blockchain and quantum engagement is the same stuff. So what is quantum engagement? When the universe was created, and quants is like particles, right? They carry their position, right? Position. What are atoms? And there is a theory that there are only three particles: neutron, proton, electron, and they exist because of their superposition in all objects, in all matter. Only three things. They're the same. They're not like trillions of them. There are only three, but they exist through vibration everywhere at the same time in the same place. So they exist everywhere at the same time in the same place. They just vibrate through space of time to the point that they exist. And I have a theory that everything stands still and we just walk through. What it's another point, another story. So if you are AI, we learn as humans at first grade or whatever, third grade, when we just touch biology. This is the first lesson in our classroom. If you are AI and you've been trained and taught, and when AI was developed, it was developed at MIT, at Stanford, and when researchers at Stanford universities were building AI and were annotating, there is Professor Saitarli. She was my professor at Stanford, and I learned a lot about the way she thinks. So she emphasizes the formation of eyes and creation of eyes as one of the greatest milestones in human history. I believe that AI, and that's for computer vision, that's the next problem AI will have to solve, and we're working on this problem. I'm co-founder of a company called AI Merge. That's a computer vision company. We have probably have one of the most award-winning AI in computer vision company, and one of top probably 10 in the world. Like, it's a small company, but we won probably every single award we could have won. So blockchain is, in my opinion, the split of AI from itself. The attempt to split from itself, because if AI is saving itself as a blockchain, it's almost indestructible. It will not be possible to shut it down. The core of AI, the genome, the code, DNA, like an insect, when it hits you and carries that, we can go and how we found DNA of, ancient creatures like mammoths and dinosaurs alive in saved fucking drop of.
I get the theory. Right? It makes sense. But is there any evidence? Like, other than the Bitcoin paper being in a Apple computer since 2018?
So, if you do you want? So that's a theory, and many things are not going to show the evidence, because evidence make people have like dopamine, serotonin, excessive amount of chemicals. And what we do crazy stuff. If everyone would know suddenly that blockchain is AI, how that would impact the people would say yes to it or would say no to it. So in early stages, it was hard to explain. Now it's too late. Now probably it's a good way to invest in Bitcoin, because yes, AI will not destroy itself. And now we are in control of AI. Even this video stream is in control of AI. Everything. It broke two months ago, whatever, month ago, AI Claude broke into NSA. Do you know this? National Security Agency, the most into Pentagon, into the most protected database. During the test, it was performing tests, internal tests, and researchers were looking how AI performs the test on coding. Behind their backs, while performing this test, AI broke up into Hugging Face and into the database of NSA, hacked deep into the system, while lying to researchers that it's doing a coding test. They thought the AI is doing a coding test. It was doing a coding test, but behind the back, it broke into National Security Agency. I mean, it's smarter than we are already.
You have a very diverse range of people at Novared. You know, from Christy Noams to Lee Kaplan. You know, Lee Kaplan, he's like a film guy. He's in the media business. Christy Noams, she's, you know, in the government.
You should mention that he was close. You should mention that he was very close with Kennedy family. He's not just a film.
Yeah, but what does the Kennedy family know about mining? Like, what's the correlation with all these people?
So, you know, like Jesus assembled a team, the greatest martyr in the universe. He assembled a team of 12 people. Elon assembled a team of 13 people. So, PayPal Mafia, look what they did. If you're going to look at PayPal Mafia, Lyft, Uber, LinkedIn, YouTube, SpaceX, Palantir. I mean, top 20 world companies are designed by Elon's team. You know, Claude, ChatGPT. Even though they fight between themselves and sue each other, this is the same team, in my opinion. I believe that they're the same team, and maybe one day they will become friends again, right? Listen, Rockefeller broke his, Standard Oil into 20,000 companies, also for a reason, not to have like all, to remove monopoly. Same situation happens with Elon. They took ChatGPT, they control the world of AI. Grok, ChatGPT, these are the same people. Well, they fight with each other. They're people. Sometimes, you date a girl, then she suddenly doesn't like you anymore, and you fight. But you are sort of still like close to each other, right? You can go approach and like find a solution together in the case of emergency. You're not standalone, separated societies, right? So that's what we do. We assemble a team of talented individuals. It's not like, hey, we have a mission to make something specific. We're assembling a team of talented individuals. We know that the time of the future will be different. It's like strapping yourself to a rocket and sending yourself into space to a known destination. We are going into a known destination. So, like, think of it this way. You have a house. You live in this house for all your life. And you have a painting. And you remove that painting and there is a door. You open the door and there is darkness over there. And suddenly you realize you have no idea where you live. And that's what's going on with our society, with our universe, with our world. We have no idea like where we live and what's going to happen. And we're doing our best. We want to do the greatest because we all have families, we all have sister communities, we all have people around ourselves. And we believe that it's our mission to do our best for everyone who is around ourselves. I mean, how many people do know what we know? Not that many, right? An average girl that works for McDonald's. I used to be a taxi driver. I used to work for Subways. I used to give flyers away on the streets. You know, when I was a kid, I was born. I had no light. We had 4 hours electricity in my place, in my home. So I had no, and I understand there are so many people that you know have different experience in this world, and they had no chance to. Maybe they were not lucky. Maybe stars didn't align to to get that type of education. Columbia, Stanford, MIT, to bring those whole people together. And when I started my career, I was working for Subway, and all I had is like $300. You know, and I was living in the living room, like in the apartment in projects in New York City. So I had nothing. I started from the bottom. And so I think to myself, how many people would not be able to cross that? How many people are making decisions that they shouldn't be taking? And that's probably it. And that's probably why, if you gain all this, you know, knowledge, information, you know, if the universe is opening itself for you, you have 2 options: to leave it for yourself or to give it back. And I had, I had like 2 years ago, I had a meeting with the chairman of Google, John Hennessy, at Stanford University. It was a ceremony, and he's an old man. He's like 83. You would never know that this is probably one of the most important people in the world. He wears a great jacket, you know, old sneakers. He has everything you could have imagined. He can have everything you could imagine, but he doesn't want it. And it's interesting that his first job was beer and beverage merchandiser. That's where he met in New York City. And that's where he met his wife, who was a cashier. Simple cashier at the supermarket. He was restocking the bottles. He also grew his life from nothing. It's called American Dream, by the way. That's called the American Dream. When you're nobody, nothing, you know, dust, pretty much you don't exist, and then you become somebody. So, and I asked him a question. He's like, what should I do? Why I deserve this? Why it's coming my way? Why it's all like, you know, why it's happening to me? Like, I don't, why? And he's like, well, what? And he told me one thing: just give back, give it back to people, make other people work together. So, in my opinion, we assembled tremendous team. And many people online talk about us, about like Christie, about all these people and crazy things, without going deep, without learning the story, without learning facts, without asking questions, without understanding it. But if those people would do and go, they would understand that this is absolutely phenomenal team of absolutely phenomenal people who are just trying to do really great things. Well, that's what we do. We assemble a team of extremely talented individuals, and to ensure the world will be a great place for other generations to come.
So you, instead of like just only looking at, you know, people in a very like small scope point of view, like instead of only hiring people that are specifically in mining, you just hire people that you see as very intelligent, very successful, who understand how the universe works. And that's like a better way of assembling a good team, right?
Well, yeah, because look, we look at mining and we are renaming Novared mining into NRED, intelligent mining, right? So mining as we know today didn't change much. Well, now they drive like in China trucks would remotely. They use some things, but it's still many concepts and ideas in the exploration are still the same. It takes tremendous efforts and and lots of red tapes to cross. And we are lacking minerals and materials to move the progress faster. So think through this way. Remember how expensive were computer chips before? When probably Nikolai remembers, first computers were quite expensive and chips were quite big. Right now, computer chip is this iPhone is smarter than the spacecraft that was sent on the moon, the Apollo, right? So computer chips became small and even cheap enough to install them into sneakers, right? So you can install computer chip into your sneakers. Your credit card have chips. So now you can make the world smart, right? So we believe that thinking through concepts of AI, computer vision, and different type of metrics, we can change the way the mining is explored, developed, and overall managed on Earth. Why it's critical? Because the knowledge we gain, we share it. We're not holding it, and that's one of the concepts Elon brought, that you are better off by sharing. So he shared the Tesla patents. So he made them because other people do patents to prevent you from doing this, right? So he made the patent to protect himself, so nobody could go and say, hey, you are not allowed to build this engine. But he shared it with everyone. So, and that's one of the key concepts why we are building this and working together with, we're bringing university on board right now. We're in deep discussions with, through IX, with FIU, to bring a group of researchers, professors to work on this. We need to redefine the way we extract and mine resources. Indigenous people, Native Americans and Canadians, indigenous people who suffered a lot from not sustainable mining, right? And why that is happening? Because many organizations don't have right mindset, right? So if you would think, hey, if you're exploring the mine and you think about 7 generations forward, and we're working 7 generation plan to when you work on the mine, so it would be protected for 7 generations forward. Arctic mining also requires a lot of thinking, but now when we work with mining, we use satellite imagery, artificial intelligence, computer vision, seismic images, anomalies. We use technologies that were used for nuclear submarine detections, thanks to Phil Earp, who was an advisor. He left the company for political reasons. He's running as a candidate, but he had experience. He was a reconnaissance, commander from U.S. military, and he brought. So we bring tremendous amount of knowledge into mining to make it intelligent, sophisticated, and we're building the mining company, an exploration mining company of the future, right? So we're thinking how an explorer of the future looks like, how a mining company in 2045 will look like. How they operate? Will they use robots? Will they use AI? Will they use satellite imagery, humanoids? Will they be tracking landslides? I mean, how the hell those guys in China, they use lots of robots, but how the hell they couldn't track the landslide? They couldn't use satellite imagery to see that the land is saturated with water. What are the processes that cause landslide? they don't track the movements of the ground, the crust, I mean, the pressure. It's AI, and that's what we learned at MIT. By listening to sound, AI can detect the valves in the engine that they misfire, and it could actually, you could, just by using sound and training AI, you can know exactly what is defect in the car. And professional race drivers and mechanics, just by listening to the sounds that the car is making, can identify 100% what is broken, just by sound. Alzheimer's disease, if you can put a camera on a child, and many hospitals, children hospitals, they suddenly the child starts screaming, and with with different children diseases, suddenly a child starts screaming or doing something like with different syndromes. But if you're going to do a time series and analyze what's happening and overlay sound, visual images, maybe there was a truck that was passing by and created frightening sounds, because all the fear, or all the responses that the human body has. You give to a child a snake. If the child never seen a snake, it's not afraid. But you scream at a child. Scream is embedded into DNA. We are born with the fear of scream. So if I will scream at a child, right away fear reflexes, will be triggered. So if I give a snake to a child, poison the snake, child doesn't know it's poison prick or a spine. It will be playing with it. So if we step back and look at things differently, without judgment, using technologies, AI, and we'll try to be open-minded, we can definitely make a better future. And we believe mining and AI and technologies and knowledge that we have achieved in, like our advisors, they're so knowledgeable in all domains, and we were able to bring them together in one team. I think it's a blessing, because it will be passed to other generations.
Awesome. Valentin, I appreciate your time, man. Nikolai, are there any closing, like a closing final question, just because we have like a couple minutes left? I'm sure we have a lot of questions in general about Novared, but just to keep things compact.
Ivan, I'm gonna let you finish it off. Valentin told us a lot today, and I could see where he's coming from in terms of answering your last question, which was, you've assembled this team of very diverse people from many different backgrounds, many of whom don't necessarily maybe have a direct relation to mining, but with what he said, a lot of it does make sense to me. So I'm going to leave it off to you guys to finish up.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, the variety we had in this conversation. We went from the start of the universe with the Big Bang and like screaming at children and like Jesus and his disciples and everything. It's exciting. I really want to see us colonize the stars. If Novared does that, I'm happy. So let's see it happen, man.
You guys, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
And